PATTAYA 105 Property Show, sponsored by Compass Real Estate.
Got to say good afternoon to you around the world and, of course, in Pattaya. Welcome to the Property Show. Of course, on the show today, we've got Lawrence from Compass Real Estate, and he's got a guest. Stay with us on that one. He's live in the studio answering all your questions and debates and finding out what's going on in Pattaya and around Thailand. Stay with us. Welcome to the show, Lawrence.
Thank you, Dave.
It's nice to see you here again.
Yeah, always a pleasure.
That's it. Do that. There we go. I think you've touched it again. You always break something, don't you?
Seems to have that effect on these microphones. Yeah.
You do. All right. And who have you brought into the studio today?
So we got Win down from Ocean's Edge, an award-winning property development down here. So obviously very knowledgeable in the market here, and I think he's going to be really good on the show today. Welcome to the show, Wim.
Thank you.
It's nice. I mean, Lawrence keeps bringing all these people in here, keep meeting all these people, but you're the best looking yet.
Thank you.
Such a charmer.
I'm such a charmer. Right, okay, what you got for us today, Lawrence? I mean, what's coming up?
Well, obviously, now we've got Wim on the show. He's obviously a very high-end developer, so we're going to be talking a little bit about high-end developments today. A couple of other, obviously, we've had a lot of questions in, so we're going to be talking about some of those. And I think we'll just see where it goes from there, really.
We're just going to take it nice and easy. Wim is new to the studio, and as he'll probably find out as we go along, Lawrence, it's not really informal here, is it? It's nice and relaxed, and we like to try and get the questions out the way, what people send in. But before we go any further, Wim, can I just ask you a question, if you don't mind? The floods, you know, up in Bangkok. What is your sort of outlook on that? How do you think that's affected Pattaya?
It's affected Pattaya perhaps in a positive way. In fact, I believe more than a positive way. Many people have come here thinking Pattaya has always had a sort of a different attention to Phuket and so on. But at the end of the day, many people have come, have said we didn't realise Pattaya had changed so much.
Yeah, I think me and Lawrence were talking about this last week, and I said to him, you know, of course it's bad what's happening in Bangkok, but also it's brought people here that have never seen this, you know, and it's sort of opened their eyes a bit, hasn't it?
Well, all I can say is we had a very high-end lady, obviously I can't use names, but they came because someone been to Ocean's Edge, they had never seen her before. This lady came and she said, we didn't think anything like this existed in Pattaya, right? And this is only positive, isn't it?
Absolutely. And we were saying that, weren't we, Lawrence? I mean, you know, it has got the positive side to it.
Oh, definitely. I think, you know, it's brought the Pattaya property market on leaps and bounds in, you know, such a short space of time. Obviously, the Thai market was already the biggest growth market here, and now, like Wim was saying, you know, it really has opened a lot of people's eyes up to what Pattaya has to offer, and particularly in the high-end sector, you know, like he said, people didn't realise perhaps, you know, the sort of luxury condominiums that we do have on offer here.
Do you think when they had this sort of persona that it was just like a holiday resort and there wasn't any high-end stuff available?
I think that perhaps a lot of people are thinking about Pattaya 10 years ago, and it was a very different environment. And I think it's still very daunting for many Thai people. They're going to a place and there's lots of foreigners there, and but they don't really understand Pattaya as such. Even the Thais themselves. I mean, many have been congregating in the John Tiem area, but when they actually find out what is available here, not just in the property, but also in things you can do, like golf courses, you can go...
Well, yeah, I mean, there's an array of activities here as well, yeah.
So, Pattaya really has come alive, and I must say that we've had many discussions with the City Hall about what we're doing, because, you know, the people that we're bringing in have got lots of money to spend, and if you look at what's happened in the shopping area and so on here, it's just growing and growing. So this can only be positive.
And we can't see it stopping yet either, can we?
Correct.
It's going to go on for a long time. I mean, we were saying, that Pattaya has just won an award for the golf courses. I mean, there's 22 golf courses within a radius of 50 kilometres or something of Pattaya. I mean, that's amazing.
Yeah, I think the growing infrastructure here, you know, the easy access from Bangkok as well. We've got to remember it's only an hour and a half away now, so it makes it very easy for people to actually come down here. And Win's right, you know, the investment potential, you know, the growth potential here. People are seeing that, you know, developers are going to pick up on that, and they're looking for the sort of, you know, no flood risk areas where they can build their next developments. And I think, you know, it's only going to be good for Pattaya.
You want to take on that, Wim?
Well, I think there's more to it than that. I think, first of all, the traffic situation in Pattaya, although we believe who live here saying it's getting busier and busier, but if you compare that to Bangkok, where it may take you an hour and a half to get from one side to the other side, this is really not
It's not that bad, is it? It's not that bad.
And, you know, in the same time they can travel across Bangkok, they can travel to here.
Yeah, like we said now, it's probably an hour 20 minutes, 1 hour 30 to sort of get into Pattaya.
Yeah, and I mean, the other thing too is that if you look at what the city is planning in relationship to infrastructure improvements, in the next 5 years we're going to see a completely different Pattaya, where the traffic will flow better than what it is at the moment. And all these improvements will only help Pattaya.
And we have to say, Wim, these things take time. Of course, they don't happen overnight. I mean, suddenly, you know, Pattaya's become bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's getting better and better and better. And of course, they've got to adapt all the roads and the infrastructure to that. But it doesn't happen overnight. But they will be doing it, and it will be happening slowly. Yeah.
Correct. I mean, it's the same as, you know, the beaches in certain areas have problems, right? Even where we are, we have problems. And it's taken us lots of negotiations with the city council, and they've allocated now, and I think it's next week or the week after, they're actually starting on our beach to sort out the erosion problem and to clean up the beach, because we've been suffering a bit from pollution and so on. But at the end of the day is there is a will by the Lord Mayor to push and push to get this thing going, so more people will come to Pattaya and enjoy the beaches, and this is important.
Well,
we
need them to come here and enjoy themselves, have a great experience, and also find great living, and of course, and come back again, and also the people that stay here want to enjoy it, and of course, that's one of the main things that, you know, a beach, you know, it's an important thing. People seem to not realise that sometimes.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the beaches here are so essential to the tourist market, and, you know, to the people who live here as well. So obviously they've got to be looked after.
But I'd just like to say this again, is that it cannot happen overnight. There are massive infrastructure work is required here, not just for roads, but also for water, for sewerage, for electricity, and all these things. And the good thing is that there are tenders out and designs being made to make it happen. Now, it may take time, because it takes time to implement. And if you look at the number of people that have come to Pattaya in the last 5 years, you know, who would have thought this would have been the case? Even the best planner can plan, but they can't plan to the volume that's come to Pattaya. So,
well, we can't foresee the future, and I mean, I think in reality, Wim, it's blown a lot bigger than a lot of people thought it would do, and of course now they've got to sort of
they've got to catch up.
You know, they've got to up the market. They've got to sort of step up and say, well, hang on, you know, we've got to do something.
Well, I've travelled extensively through Europe, promoting our project. And most people, when you talk about Pattaya, they look at you sideways. And when you convince them to come out and you actually take them around and show them Horseshoe Point, horses, polo, you name it, they're amazed. They're amazed.
Yeah, I mean, people have this sort of idea of Pattaya in their heads, which isn't really the case anymore. And I think, you know, like we're talking about the flood situation, it's only highlighted this to a lot more people. And, you know, like we've been talking about, the infrastructure is growing, and the actual Pattaya itself is always growing. You know, we've got the new marina going down on Bali High Pier. You know, we've got the planned the Metro Link. Lots of improvements in the pipeline.
And there is some great facilities here, some great entertainment here. I mean, it's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and better and better. And of course, I think, as we can probably just sum up this section, is say to people, you know, forget the old Pattaya. This is the new Pattaya, and we're building on it.
Well, let me explain this to you. I have one client that's bought a double. He's actually a retired pilot, and he comes Christmas time, and he's now here for 3 months. He's just brought his family in from France, from Italy, from Greece, from America, from Canada, and they're all together, and they've already booked for their Christmas dinner in town somewhere, because they love the food here. Terrific restaurants. How much money does this bring to this city? You know?
Just that.
They love it
just
here.
that. Yeah. I think that's something we sort of forget sometimes. These people come in here, they spend their hard-earned money, and at the end of the day, of course, they want the service.
Whether you're planning to buy or sell, rent or invest in either a house or a condo, Compass Real Estate offers exclusive new developments and, of course, properties that are ready to move into right away. The dedicated team at Compass Real Estate use their wealth of experience to guide you to your new home anywhere in the Pattaya area, bringing buyer and seller together and ensuring a smooth and speedy transition. Compass Real Estate offices are on the Sukhumvit Road between Central and South Pattaya. Call us on 0800 958854 or browse our virtual showroom at compasspattaya.com. Let Compass be your guide to property buying. compasspattaya.com.
And in the studio today we have Lawrence from Compass Real Estate and Wim as well. Welcome back, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Wim, if you can just sort of fill us in a little bit. I mean, you know, where did all this start for you? It's okay, guys, coming in here and saying, hey, you know, this is what we do, but surely you had to make that first step. What was your first step, Wim?
My partner and I, Andrew Neely, we've both been into real estate. I was in real estate in Bangkok for about 7 years, and Andrew had been here in Pattaya for about 10 years, I guess. And we'd seen a lot of product being built, which we thought was okay, but we felt that we wanted to build a more upmarket project. And our study told us that the government was going to put a lot of money into Pattaya, make it a specialised zone for foreigners. And we saw that this was going to be the growth opportunity, but we needed to lift the quality and the type of product. And so that's how we started.
So you sort of thought to yourselves, we're going to take it one step higher and see how it goes, yeah?
I think it's perhaps a little bit more than one step higher, because you know the issue that we have is
I was trying to be kind.
That's okay. We're in the 25 up million bracket, depending on what size. Up to 75 million is the biggest one we've sold, or the most expensive one. But there's a different type of customer, different type of selling, and it's a whole different concept.
Do you find when you start going into that kind of bracket, into the 25 to 75 bracket, I mean, is that when stuff becomes like personalised? I mean, do they have things personalised in their own way?
Absolutely, and they're a lot more demanding. But you know, the issue is that life used to be a lot easier than what it is today, because we've had a financial crisis one after the other, which hasn't happened, which hasn't helped the high flyers.
Right.
So I can tell you, from the time that we've started 5 years ago to where we are today, we've had to rethink our own thinking on are we on the right track, the wrong track, or whatever the track.
Yeah, I think you're not alone there. I think it threw a lot of people out over the period of time of what's happened in the economy and that. But down at your, the place you have, Ocean's Edge.
Yes.
I mean, whereabouts is that exactly in Pattaya?
Well, probably the easiest way to explain is if you go on the way to Sirachaf, you have the Banglamung police station on the left-hand side. Then you have what some people think is a mosque, which is the Sukawati, the richest chicken guy lives there. He controls all the chicken in Thailand. And then the little soy number 8, right next door to Sukawati. You turn left, you go to the end of the beach, you'll see Ocean's Edge. The next mark to it is the Chonchan Hotel.
Right.
So we're nestled right on the beach. The water is about 30 metres from your front door. Okay.
Yeah, it is beautiful down there, right on the beach. Stunning views.
And you were saying, we're just sort of skipping over some of the things that you was on about during the break. You were saying that in your complex you've got a lift where you can sort of park a car underneath, and it takes you to your place.
Yeah, the concept we had was privacy and exclusivity. Okay. Right. Because we felt the type of people that would want to live there for the money they're paying, they want to be private, and they want to be left alone, and they want to regenerate their batteries. And so we designed it in such a way that we have a car park underneath the units, one very long car park. It's almost 170 metres, 60 metres long, right? Which is underground. You go underground. It's all controlled. You control the in and out, okay, electronically, which things that we give you, and then you park your car within approximately 5 metres of your lift. You go into the lift, and the lift actually goes into your apartment,
which I think is great and personal. Absolutely brilliant. I mean, just to start with that. Now, we was talking also, you know, about what do people have and what don't people have in their complexes and condominiums and all that. And you've come up with a bit of a comparison, haven't you? There,
I think you know, Ocean's Edge has a lot of standout features. You know, we've got to realise here we are talking about quite a small segment of the market, obviously the high-end market, and there's only really 4 or 5 condominiums in Pattaya that really, you know, stand out in this high-end sector.
Right.
But Ocean's Edge kind of stands out a little bit over a lot of them. And yeah,
it's got the edge on them.
It's got the edge. That could be a good one.
Well, yeah,
that brought a smile, Wim. Come on, that brought a smile.
I think that you know, there's a comparison being done of all the things that are available, and it's too long probably to talk to it over the show. But at the end of the day is we have something like 45 yeses. The next three high-end condominiums have like between 4 and 5 yeses on what we've put into our project.
Okay.
The problem that you have is with a project like ours, mass marketing doesn't work. It's what we call pinpoint marketing. So you need someone that knows someone before they'll even come and have a look.
Right.
But you rarely get the opportunity to explain all the things we have. For instance, we have our own water. Okay, we don't need city water. We have city water as well. We have tanks, 5 days of water. We no water leaves the premises. We have solar hot water. We have a generator that covers you for everything. Within 20 seconds after there is a blackout, the system is operating everywhere.
Right.
Okay, we have fiber internet. So what happens?
Do you think that these things that you're putting in and you've got your 45 yeses? Do you think that other people probably would like to do them, but if they did do them, it would make their
yeah, for sure, it'd raise the cost.
It'd raise the cost.
I mean,
that is the problem.
I mean, to give people, you know, some comparison that they might be able to compare this to. Obviously, sort of the high-end condominiums, you know, in the market people might have heard of, such as North Point, the Cove. I mean, you know, in Wynn's project, Ocean Edge, you know, you've got one elevator for every 4 apartments, whereas, say, in North Point, you've got one for every 75.
Right.
So it's a lot more exclusive, and those are the sort of things.
But let's face it. I mean, you know, the 25 to 75 bracket, you know, you've got to have that personal touch, and you've also got to have that privacy, and you've also got to have a lot of yeses.
For sure,
you've got to. You know, if you're aiming for that high, you've got to fill them. You've got to fill them boxes.
Yeah, I mean, you know, if you're aiming to make this exclusive, you've got to have things that make it exclusive. You know, it's common sense. You know, you need to have those standout features that set it apart from the other high-end developments.
Well, I think this is right, but there are other things attached to this, and over time you will understand, and if you're a builder and an engineer, you will come to grips with this. The fundamentals of building a property is to make sure you got the footings right, and the structure right. And we build, Ocean Edges build 25% over the
legal requirement.
No, over it was designed. The structural engineering was done by a guy in New Zealand. Okay, and he recommended we go a bit higher because we're on the beach. So we went 25% over what we have now. The structure's been standing for about 4 years now. Okay, and the project's finished, by the way. Occupancy certificate is issued, etc., etc. People are living there now. But at the end of the day, we have got not one structural crack. Right, and you must understand we have swimming pools on the balcony full with water.
Yeah,
okay,
totally agree. And of course, you know, some do put up their structures, and over a period of time, they start to get hairline cracks. They do get this, and they do get that, and like you say, going 25% more than expected will surely compensate for that.
Yeah, well, if you talk about, for instance, we just had floods, okay, and what happens is when you're building a project like we have right on the beach, and the pressure of the ocean is phenomenal. We don't have any leaks anywhere in our basement.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying we didn't have them when we build them, because you always have some problem, but they're all done. But we have 3 backup systems for pumping the water, which is an automatic system when it rains. We will never have this basement filled up with water because of what we've put in. Did we have to? No, we didn't. But we did because what it is.
I think it's just, I mean, just going off what you're saying, and you know, if I was buying a property from you, just by, you know, the generator thing and the pump thing, you know, it would just give you that little bit of peace of mind and make you feel a bit more secure in the place you're going in. 100%. Well,
that's exactly right. I mean, you can't demand a price like we're demanding compared to other projects in Pattaya unless you get value for money. And when you're close to the ocean, there are very harsh elements, you know, and if you don't take care of the property in the way you build it, then what happens is after 3-4 years it's going to look very shabby. That's why the front of our project, if you have a look at on the photo there, is aluminium. Okay, it's aluminium cladding, and we skimmed all of the buildings with a special material, which cost us an extra couple of million baht. We didn't have to, because no one would know whether you did it or not.
Yeah, sure.
But the idea being is, our project will stand there for many years before it needs any maintenance, because that's the way we've built it. And is it right or is it wrong? Only the customer will decide.
I think you can only sort of reassure the customer a little bit in what you're doing, and of course, they're going to feel a lot more happier when they know all this is done. I accept that, and of course, you get in the 25 to 75 end. When they're paying at the other end of the market, it's like they're looking for.
Yeah, I think at the lower end of the market, people often overlook the sort of the build quality. How the build quality will affect the maintenance of the building, how it will actually stand the test of time, probably to some people's detriment. Now, I mean, there are a lot of the low end kind of condominiums that are built well, and but obviously not to this sort of spec. But if you are looking at a high end property, obviously you're expecting that sort of spec, and you need to have that into the build quality.
Okay, agree on that one, Wim?
Sure.